My name is Nora. I'm a 35-year-old office worker. Isaac and I are the same age. We got married 3 years ago. I met my husband through a friend. He works at the same place as my friend and is a pleasant, dependable individual who excels at his job. I'm not the type of person who would act aggressively in a relationship, but I decided to meet him for the first time. He was quite courteous and nice. We struck it off and began dating right away. And after roughly 2 years of dating, we were married. I also had a healthy baby daughter. We both work, so she attends daycare. I drop her off in the morning and my husband picks her up. I do a lot of overtime. He usually leaves work on time. Because my husband gets to work earlier than me, he can pick up our kid at 5 p.m., so we take turns picking up and dropping off our daughter. My spouse has lived alone for a long time and cooks dinner for me. I truly appreciate having food waiting for me when I arrive home late. We both get weekends free from work, so we spend time together as a family. I adore going out and playing at home with them. I felt confident that we could continue to be a happy family. However, an unexpected visitor interfered with this ideal life. It was my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law lost her husband to sickness 2 years ago, so she is living alone. My mother-in-law used to be a wonderful person, and my husband and I would frequently pay her a visit at her home. After my daughter was born, my in-laws were quite nice and adored her as their first granddaughter. So I had nothing but positive impressions about my mother-in-law. So how did she manage to do that? My mother-in-law has been visiting us frequently since last year. Initially, she would pay us visits on weekends, and she would notify my spouse ahead of time. And we had no plans to go out with our daughter. We let her come over. However, the frequency of these visits rose. I was growing tired of visiting my mother-in-law every week. I requested that my spouse tell her to come less frequently if feasible. My husband did not believe I disliked my mother-in-law, so he looked at me suspiciously but listened to me, which he did. She stopped coming to visit on weekends after that, but she now frequently visits on weekdays while my husband is home. So when I got home from work, my mother-in-law was seated at the dining table with my husband and daughter. "Okay, Nora, you're back. I'm going home now." When I arrived home, my mother-in-law hurriedly fled. I don't like how she avoids me on weekends, no matter how many times I urge her not to. I also detest the fact that my mother-in-law is robbing me of the family dinners I look forward to. Why is she eating with them before I do? I miss dining with my spouse and kids at the dinner table. Although I considered telling my spouse about it, complaining again might result in a fight, so I put up with it for a while, even though I disliked it. But one day when I was doing this, I started to feel a little uncomfortable. Daily needs like groceries and detergent were rapidly depleting. Bottles of wine, snacks, tinned food, and pasta that I had stockpiled. Those items disappeared before I realized it. I assumed my spouse, who arrived home before me, was eating and drinking. However, this would be impossible for a single individual. If I had eaten so much food in such a short period of time, I would have checked the garbage. Following that, the disappearance of things became more regular. Last time, the cosmetics I stocked up on, as well as the pricey booze I purchased for my evening cocktails, were gone. My husband does not drink, so I don't think he took them. So my mother-in-law was the only person who could do it. So I asked my husband first, "Wait, what? Is my mother stealing things?" I purchased items and the next thing I knew, they were gone. "Really? You must be mistaken, right?" "No, I do not think so." After purchasing them, I double-checked their location. But then I realized they were constantly gone. I kind of hate it when you doubt my mother like that, you know? So are you admitting you drank those champagne bottles by yourself? No, I would not do that. Why don't you check with your mother? Please, I do not want to. My mother would be upset. My husband stated so, and he never confirmed if it was my mother-in-law or not. In reality, my mother-in-law visits the house every day when my husband is home. There's a significant likelihood she was surreptitiously taking them at the time. The next thing that was stolen was something I couldn't ignore anymore, my luggage and clothing. Sensing the danger, I banished the items I cherished to my parents' house. So what was taken wasn't particularly expensive, but the fact that it had been taken was the issue. I could not handle it anymore, so I advised my husband that he should ask his mother this time. But he stared at me with disgust on his face. "You must be mistaken. Stop doubting my mother." No matter how hard I tried, he refused to check with my mother-in-law. "Okay then, it looks like I need to make a police report." "Police? Oh, that's too much. It's not like they took chocolates or anything like that. Someone has taken our clothes or bags. This is what thieves do. If a stranger entered our home, it would be terrifying. If you do not ask your mother, I will contact the police." "Okay, I get it. My husband finally agreed to ask my mother-in-law and scheduled a call for the following weekend. What's the matter with you calling me on your day off? My mother-in-law was delighted to see us. I'd prodded my husband with my elbow to get him to ask her immediately. Look, if I'm wrong, don't worry about it. But are you removing items from the house without our permission? When my husband asked her that, she seemed astonished. What? Are you saying I stole something? Isn't Nora the one who would say anything like this? There's no way Isaac would say that. My mother-in-law stated this and came to me. How dare you? You're a lousy wife. To distrust your mother-in-law. How can you be so contradictory when you're almost positive you're the one doing it? Okay, then I'll speak with the police. My mother-in-law panicked the moment I mentioned the term police. What? Wait a minute. Are you trying to make a big deal about this? Let us calm down. I'm rather calm. It isn't you or Isaac. Then it should be a stranger. There is a burglar inside the house. We will have no choice. However, you should contact the police. My mother-in-law grew contemplative and confessed. Okay, I took it. What? I cannot hear you for a second. I took everything from your belongings. Are you happy right now? My mother-in-law exclaimed in desperation. Come on, Mom. How long have you been removing our things? My husband was astounded. Well, it happened while you were gone. Huh? What do you mean? I didn't comprehend how she got inside the house while we were away. Then my spouse said something foolish. Huh? Haven't I told you yet? Previously, I handed Mom a duplicate key. What? You've never told me that. Sorry for that. I forgot. What are you saying? You failed to tell me anything so important. If I provided my mom with a duplicate key, she would pick up her child from daycare, and she would prepare dinner for us. She has been helping me with housework and other tasks for quite some time. I'd never heard all of this before. I thought my husband handled everything, but it appears that my mother-in-law has been doing everything around the house lately. There is nothing more than that. I was startled to discover that my mother-in-law had virtually lived in the house while I was away. She is the type of person who utilizes and steals others' belongings without permission. She is probably looking at everything in this place. Can I have the key back, please? What? Sorry, but I do not trust you, so please return it. What are you talking about, Nora? She is assisting us, but she is also a thief. Hey, don't call me a thief. What's the harm in calling a thief a thief? If you don't want to be branded a thief, change your ways. Hurry up and give me the key. No, I will not. My mother-in-law refuses to give it to me, treating me like a beggar. My husband also begs me not to do this, so I answered, then I'll report you to the police for taking my clothes and bags. It's not right to threaten me like that. It's not right to threaten me like that. My mother-in-law said this and returned the duplicate key to me. I suppose she didn't want to get into trouble with the cops after all. I felt this would be a temporary reprieve, but I chose to take a variety of precautions because I had no idea what would happen. I hope nothing happens now. I was really harsh and warned my husband. My mother-in-law is not coming over for a bit. They both agree for the time being, and my mother-in-law rarely visits the house now. I was concerned that my relationship with my husband would worsen. He was surprised that his mother was stealing items, but he wasn't upset with me, and our connection was fine. But then my mother-in-law took an unexpected action. When I got home from work one day, she was already there. She sat on the couch with my husband waiting for me. I had a terrible feeling about this. Nora, it has been a long time. What on earth do you want? Don't appear so terrified. Is it something bad? What exactly are you talking about? This is truly a good thing. I sat down on the sofa without prodding, knowing it couldn't be real. So what is it? Well, I purchased a house. Oh, seriously? Did she use her husband's inheritance? I do not want you to be excessively stingy with your wealth, so I will retain something that is rightfully mine. It's a really large, gorgeous, and pleasant home. Oh, seriously, I'm happy for you. To be honest, I don't care about it. I'm not sure how she bothered to tell me the story. Then my mother-in-law made a startling comment. I felt I should report it just in case. Just in case, and for what? Does that imply you bought a home? I mean, I'll utilize your savings. What? My savings? Nora, you have been hiding a lot of money. How can you have been saving $300,000 without spending it? Wait a minute. Have you used my money? Without my permission? Hey, why are you so angry? I haven't yet, but I will shortly. A daughter-in-law's money belongs to her mother-in-law, so it is mine. Wait for a minute. Did you steal a bank statement that had been given to me? I found it in your closet. So if you wish, you can live with me. Do you know? Please, come on. This is clearly a crime. You constantly exaggerate greatly. I'll use the family's money. Isn't it too bad? Yeah, Mom is right. Mom suggested we may live in the new house as well. You should instead praise her for putting your money to good use. I was so angry and disgusted. I didn't think my mother-in-law was this crazy. My husband is insane enough to accept her side. Look, I can't take it anymore. Let's get divorced. Isaac, I can't live with you any longer. Of course, not with your mother. So I'd like you to leave me immediately. My husband and mother-in-law were stunned, but they quickly returned to their arrogant ways. Okay, let's get divorced then, but under one condition. We'll keep the money in your savings account. We'll need it to make payments on the house we're purchasing. Whatever. My husband and mother-in-law were thrilled. Then use this, honey. Saying this, my mother-in-law handed my husband the divorce papers. Mom, you are indeed well prepared. My husband instantly completed the form and submitted it to me. They seemed pleased with themselves, which was great for me because I wanted to cut ties as quickly as possible. I completed the divorce papers and placed them in my luggage, stating that I would send them out. I'll take my daughter, and you'll have to pay child support. Okay? The two, who had recently bought a house with my money and were ecstatic, didn't appear to mind. Oh, that's fine. It's nothing. I'll pay, he added, snickering. I hurriedly packed my belongings, took my baby, and returned to my parents' place. My folks were shocked when I suddenly returned with a large bundle. They were outraged when they learned what had happened. Since then, I've been caring for my parents' house while looking for a new place to reside. Fortunately, I discovered a pretty good room and signed the lease immediately. And just as I completed moving everything in, my ex-husband contacted me several times like a crazy person. What the hell is going on, Nora? He seemed unhappy. What do you mean? I claimed I didn't know. I mean, where are the $300,000? You've recognized it now. The truth is that the comment my mother-in-law stole was from several months ago. By the time we reassembled that night, all of the money had already been transferred. You have got to be kidding me. What have you done? Where have you hidden our $300,000? Ours? No, it's mine, you understand. I transferred it to my second account even before she discovered the statement. For your information, that is the amount of money I worked hard to save prior to our marriage. Why would I give it to you? You are just strangers now. I was suspicious in the beginning, so I transferred the money before your mother did anything with it. It was beyond my comprehension how she even purchased a home. My ex-husband was completely horrified when he heard what I had to say. Wait, what about the $300,000 house payment? You and your mother will need to work hard to pay for it. Of course, you'll have to pay child support as well. No, I don't have that much money. I do not care what you say. You purchased it. Therefore, you have no choice. Get a man up, Isaac. If you stop paying child support, I'll keep requesting it through my lawyer. So good luck with your nasty mother. Hey, I hung up on my ex-husband and blocked his calls. It appears that when they purchased the house, my mother-in-law spent the full remainder of her husband's fortune as a down payment. She cannot afford to pay the remaining $250,000. So now my ex-husband is making the loan payments. His wage, however, leaves him with nothing after paying off the loan and child support. So he works part-time to make money for the two adults. Despite purchasing a magnificent home, neither of them can afford to live a good life, and they're tired of working and paying off their debt every day. They can't even sell their home because it's worth less than they paid for it. They truly deserve it. I, on the other hand, live in a cozy, big apartment and work hard as a single mother. I'm excited to watch my daughter grow up while I work hard. I will keep working hard for her because it is the right thing to do.